and Angelo for Claudio, death for death. Haste still pays haste, and leisure answers leisure. Like doth quit like, and measure still for measure.
Isabella is probably one of the most ambiguous characters in the whole of Shakespearean plays. She is indeed ambiguous because the play she stars in and is a protagonist of is one of the most ambiguous plays of Shakespeare as well. She embodies that ambiguity, and this video is dedicated to her and her aspects and whether these aspects are false or not. So what are the first things we know about Isabella? It's a good question. First, we know that she is the brother of Claudio and that she is a novice to become a nun. And the third time is that she is indeed a rhetorical genius as well. These three pillars are essential to unravel the character of Isabella. She being a human, meaning she is related to another person, that makes another person quite humane. And she, as a nun, which is a role she takes up on her own. Now, it is very, very symbolical and also significant that she is becoming a nun. Why? The first question we have to ask ourselves is, why does Isabella want to become a nun? I mean, who does that? To know this, or to get the answer for this, we have to look at the setting. Vienna is a moral field, and its main basis, the thing it revolves around, is sex. And it's very important to understand that sex here is a key to not just only moral defect, but it's the cause of a downfall of a person who is involved in sexuality. And Isabella doesn't want that. It's very interesting how we first see Isabella. In the first scene, first act, scene 5, is that she asks about the responsibility of nuns. And Francesca, I think, yes, she is the one, says that, why are you afraid that it's too much? And Isabella says that no, it's too small enough of a responsibility. I want to be stricter. She says that I speak not as desiring more, but rather wishing a more strict restraint. What does this mean? It means that Isabella is self-aware, self-conscious. So much. She is the most self-conscious character and protagonist in any Shakespeare play ever. And we'll see that later, how she's so very careful with that. She knows herself very much, and she knows her desires even more. But is she afraid of these desires? Probably. That's why she becomes a nun. So, what is even more important is that these downfalls, meaning Lucio has sexual illnesses and Claudio is in prison, Isabella doesn't only want to avoid that, she's completely aware of her passions altogether. That's her probably main weapon, her self-knowledge. And she wants to preserve that. She wants to preserve her self-independence so very radically and so very vehemently that in the end she would and will sacrifice almost anything or everything for that. That she chooses to sacrifice her humanity is to become a nun. And she's okay with that because in these times, if sex was subjugation and sex was death, then she chooses to live her being her own woman, and that is an immense weapon in her case. Isabella is very human, very much so human, and Angelo denied that humanness in him until that point, and that will be his downfall. And problems arise when Angelo tries to act upon that humanness, that she's human and she's a woman, and after that Isabella says that okay, if you want to have that ground, then we won't have it. I won't have that, and she chooses then to not to not show any humanity from that point on. So Act 2, Scene 4. In Act 3, she starts to become even more distant to the audience after her sole soliloquy. Both the problem and the proof for Isabella is that she has only one soliloquy in the whole of the play. The other person is Angelo, who has, I think, 5 or so, but Isabella has only one. And she is very self-aware, and not just of Vienna, not just of herself, but the audience as well. She is so very self-conscious that she starts out in first person, saying that, to whom should I complain? Watch out, to whom should I complain? She doesn't say, okay, I'm gonna solve this thing. She knows this because she's being desired. Angelo just proposed to her sexually that, oh, come on, let's make out. And Isabella is very afraid of that. She knows that she desires sex also. I mean, her whole language throughout the play is heavy with sexual and sensual imagery, like the impression of keen whips I'd wear as rubies and strip myself to death as to a bed that longing have been sick for. I mean, Isabella chill. She wants sex very much, and she says that to whom should I complain, because she doesn't trust herself with the choice of resisting Angelo. She has to complain to somebody else. Now here comes the most important, the most famous, the most crucial line in the whole of the play. She says, "More than our brother is our chastity." First, let's look at this line as it means. It means, contextually, semantically, it means that she would sacrifice anything. She would sacrifice her brother. She would sacrifice her humanness to preserve her individuality. And secondly, if we look at these lines grammatically and linguistically, she talks in royal person. She actually uses royal language as a we, the our thing. It's like, more than our brother is our chastity. She talks as a king, and that's how she sheds her humanity. That is the last shred. After that, she is ruthless. How can we perceive Isabella as Lady Justice, or in her other name, Justitia? Well, according to Roman mythology, she was the goddess of getting actual moral justice in legal systems. And the interesting thing is that originally Justitia was meant to be blindfolded. Now I choose this picture, the one before the Old Bailey. That means the royal court, the actual highest court and upper level court, or how you say it, the royal court of justice in Britain, in London, because that statue doesn't have blindfold. Now, here is the most important part. According to Gregory Collins, a historian, an English historian, in his Designs on Truth, he says that originally, in the ancient times, Justitia wasn't depicted wearing a blindfold because her maidenhood, her purity, her virginity, ensured that she's telling the truth and remains impartial. Why is this important? Because Isabella's purity empowers her to judge and empowers her to look at as sharply as any man, any human can. You would think that, oh, this is it. Isabella is losing her godhood, but it is not so. Isabella just got the godhood she deserved all along. She understands power from the very beginning of the play. She had the rhetorical skills. She is a nun. She is a pure and true confidence. She's a true passion embodied. And in the end, she grasps the godhood by forgiving. Forgiveness is the one true aspect of a Christian God. Up until that point, she can be Nemesis or Justice or Justitia, because she sees falsity, she sees sophistry, and she can see so strictly and purely what is the other person and what is she, in contrast or in parallel with that. But being a Christian God and not a mythological one means that you are able and willing to kneel for another person. That is pure empathy. And that is even if she is married to the Duke, which she has no voice at the end. When the Duke says, okay, I will marry you, Isabella doesn't say anything. She has no more lines in the play. And she cannot be, in a way, she's untouchable by this point. At this point, when she forgives to Angelo, she's untouchable, and even if she marries the Duke, personally, I think she already got on the top, and she cannot be dragged down. She just got the physical power that she deserved from the very beginning, and that is why Isabella is a winner. So what can be the conclusion to this incredibly complicated play? Can Isabella make it coexist, her humanness, her godliness, and her admission to the law? Actually, she can. The facades and the masks she wears is still herself. The very purpose she fights for is still herself. The masks she chooses to wear, the role as a nun, and then later probably the Duke's wife, is all an instrument for her self-independence. And as we know, the masks are still us.